It's true that developing country perspective also is that climate change matters. And when we are going to accelerate the responses, then the context also matters. So what I'll be trying to do as I move on to bring up examples from India to illustrate what I'm trying to say. In September, I was in Bangladesh in their Power and Energy Week. And last week, 2 days back, I was in New Delhi for disseminating the 1.5 special report of IPCC as one of the authors of the report. So both the programs were organized by the respective ministries. And the discourse that went on there could clearly show that the developing countries are in great dilemma. And the question that is bothering each one there is that should developing countries stop growing or keep growing, and then differently, then what is the different trajectory? So these are the questions which came up over and over again. But interestingly, when the policymaker or people sitting in the government are asking the questions, their standpoint is that there is local unfinished development agenda, now with additional burden of global responsibility. But when you listen to the social and the economic actors compared to the political actors, they feel that given a chance, they can see how they can make a difference. So interestingly, bottom-up movement is much faster than the top-down movement. And there lies the hope, which I feel. I was presenting the assessment that we included in the IPCC special report on 1.5 to show that any mitigation action also has many positive and some negative impacts on the long-term sustainable development goals, taking the 2030 SDGs. So knowing those trade-offs and synergies can help in policymaking. So I was presenting this figure, which I'm not going into details, but what I'm trying to show is that these blue ones are showing that if you take the mitigation measures in the energy supply sector or the demand sector or in the land sector, then across all 16 SDGs, we can get the positive impacts and also the negative impacts. And the shades show the level of confidence. But what it shows that any mitigation action will have both positive and negative impacts. But clearly, the positive impacts are relatively more than the negative impacts. And if you look into the negative impacts into deeper, then you can see that there are several policy options which can be combined with the mitigation options like distributive measures and several other development measures, which can make these synergies become more prominent with less trade-off. So climate goal compatible mitigation options can have synergy with the development goals. So this was the message I was trying to share with them. As I said, the developmental actors at the societal level and the economic business people and everybody thought that given a chance, given a right policy framing and given the technology access, they can try to make a change. And I'll just bring up few things from my personal research, which I usually do, and which shows that what are the issues of concern. And if we pick up the high confidence statements from the IPCC report and not the low confidence statements, then how does it pan out in terms of the challenges and opportunities? Although there is huge urbanization trend happening, but still in the developing world, if I take an average number, then we know that at least 60% still lives in the rural areas. So rural transformation is going to be very important. And if we are thinking in terms of land-based mitigation options, then rural transformation does matter. And we really need to focus on that. But we all know that the rural transformation from our ground realities, I understand that, is really slow due to lack of sufficient reliable electricity. I'll give you an example that between 1970 and 2000, for 30 years, the multi-level financial agencies and in collaboration with the governments in the countries, they tried to solve the access to safe drinking water problem. And they went for massive sewage to the tube wells in Bangladesh and West Bengal in India. And so you can see that how the women empowerment got lost in laboring for accessing water. The primary hypothesis was that because electricity will not be available in the rural areas, so how we can make water access electricity free. And what it led to was massive arsenic contamination among the people in whole of Bangladesh and West Bengal. And it's no less than 100 million people. And so there came the piped water supply solution. And this is how the water access is given. And so whether it is safe access to water or not, that remains a question. So because there is no electricity, electricity is not needed for a decent living, maybe just access to water is good enough. So development got delayed. And with that delayed, we tried to analyze for over 30 years what has gone wrong with the multilateral funding agencies' development agenda and the corresponding government policy actions. And we published in both the languages, English and Bengali, so that it can be accessible to the local people as well. And after that, we could realize that there are several technologies which were attempted, which were not connected to the electricity. But we learned that any technology positioned as poor man's technology never succeeds in the society. It never gets accepted in the society. And that ended up, water access technology ended up in storing the feed for the cattle and the goats. And they continued suffering from arsenic contamination. Then we got some funding from US and Indo-US science technology funding sources. And with Berkeley and Jadavpur University, we tried to work for three long years, but then we started for past 10 years. We had been working for past 10 years, and we tried to bring a solution, which is arsenic safe drinking water with a patented technology and with a smart card for distribution. And with this, we can increase, we could increase. So this is a school where we have done this, and now this is in the private entrepreneur who is delivering safe drinking water with the smart cards to the children, and there is more school attendance and safe water, safe access to safe drinking water, and the community is also buying the water. So it's not that they are not willing to pay, we are not providing the right solution. So what it really matters is that access to electricity and modern technology does matter. The next point, if I again take the high confidence statement from IPCC report, then we can see that if we think in terms of urban transformation with rising warming and adaptation deficit as of now, then I'm just giving a picture what it means for warm, humid climate countries, and so what really needs to be done. So we took annual, for each day, for 365 days, the municipal corporation in Calcutta city measures the confluent samples in the water sample collected from the standposts and of the piped water. So we can see that during the summer months, the microbial contamination goes up, and which is actually not known. So this is a new finding that we have also published this. So we are showing that with warming, just the warming which is happening right now with the climate variability, this is unhealthy, and which is not under the radar of the policymaking or the water treatment, or maybe across many other countries, this is also not known because the research doesn't exist. So we also tried to see that what does it mean to live in a warm, humid climate? There is a WBGT index of World Health Organization which says that what should be the ambient work environment so that you can have 100% productivity without having health impact. If you take that index, then we can show that in 4 mega cities in India, in Kolkata, we should not be working 357 days out of 365 days. And in Delhi, and in Mumbai, and in Chennai, these days people should not be working, but people are working. So what does it mean? Huge health impact. Heat stress related health impact, WHO lays out very clearly, which I'm not going to repeat here. So what we tried to do was that this is just a mapping what we did. I'm not going into the method how we derived, but this is going to be published soon. So here what we tried to do is that these are the daily temperature, and this shows, green zone shows that this combination of relative humidity and temperature provides you the 100% work zone, and this provides you the 100% no work zone, and these are the graded work zones. So what it simply means, we tried to give the adaptation like change of clothing type. We gave a shaded workspace and then the indoor workspace. Still we find that unless it is air conditioned, you cannot have 100% work days. It simply shows that there is going to be huge appliance demand and the electricity demand just for the current vulnerability, current climate variability, not to talk of even 0.1%. Every bit of warming matters in such countries. Another issue, which is the air pollution in the cities. So this is in Calcutta. We tried to do a huge consultation with all different kind of population, with first providing the education and then try to see that how they see what kind of air quality demand they have, and whether they understand what is the current impact. So whether you take the symptomatic indicators like health impacts, so people understand that this is the baseline right now where we are in the winter months, because monsoon is a cleanser. So you just get a fantastic, you get the best during the monsoon months. So that's not big deal. But for winter months, this is really a problem where the baseline is here. But everybody wants the best quality of environment, definitely, but they do not want it immediately today or tomorrow, but they know that, okay, within 3-4 years, if we have a targeted move, then we can we reach there? So we tried that out with the different, the physical indicators also, people are aware of the same thing. So there is a huge demand for air quality as well. So how this is getting addressed in the cities is that there is a huge, massive policy move and the public-private sector cooperation to go for more electric mobility in the public transport system, because still in these cities, 70 to 90% is in public transport mobility. So it is easier to solve if buses and the larger public transport is in electric mode. So, and that is something which the government is planning in a massive scale, so we can see that change, and which is a positive thing which we can think of. So inevitably, there is going to be rise in electricity demand. So there is high confidence statement that warming is going to increase. And we also know that there is more decarbonization needed, but also we know that inevitable that electricity demand is going to rise. So we looked into the electricity supply sector in India. And then when I look into it, then I see that still till March 2017, installed capacity for coal is still 59%, which is worrisome. Although the renewable share is increasing, but how the capacity expansion is being planned and how capacity expansion is going to happen, then we see that yes, capacity expansion is happening for the cleaner fuels faster and at a very high rate. So things are happening. And if it happens, not if it happens, it is happening because the investments are on the in pipeline. So it is going to happen anyway. So if it happens, still, what is the matter of worry? Till 2050, if we do this, then we can see that installed capacity, the coal contribution of coal is going to be only 27% by 2050. But of course, we know that given the efficiency differences in different technologies, the generation is still going to be 53%. Of course, this is worrisome, given the whole call for decarbonization of the power sector. So if we think in terms of decarbonizing the power sector, there is a long way to go. But if we know that it has to happen, and if the dialogue can happen today itself, then definitely there is some hope, something can happen. Where lies my hope? I'll just show one, that what is happening in India. There are many, many such evidences, which I'm not going to show now, but in course of discussion, I can come back with that. So which shows that the manufacturing industries, where in 70s, there was 1% of activity growth in industry meant 1% change in the energy demand. But now with the energy efficiency improvement in the industry sector, you can see how fast the decoupling is happening. And if I increase it a little more, we are actually saw years of absolute decoupling between manufacturing industry and the energy. And if we bring in emission, then we can see that it's happening even at a faster rate. So all our studies, multiple studies from multiple institutions shows that India's commitment of NDC will be met anyway. So can India deliver more? And if we look into the on the ground what is happening, then we know that we are showing this to the government also and trying to give them confidence that yes, they can commit more. So really what is needed from my India experience, I understand that research, science, and policy really need to come closer and have a dialogue. I still remember in 2000 when the ministry, the secretaries were going to a Bonn conference for a climate change related dialogue. And at that time, India was not committing at all. So we were in the consultative committee. So we means many of our academic partners from different universities. So the secretary said that we are going to Bonn again and we are really scared. International community will be pressing on us that what we can deliver. We do not know what to do. And we said that, wow, how come you all do not know there are so many good things happening on the ground? Because in the industries, there is industrial efficiency is improving. And so they said, do you have the numbers? We shared our numbers, and that gave them the confidence. And that's how the commitments came up. So I think there is a huge responsibility for the researching community to talk to the government and give them confidence. And also there are many things which is happening on the ground, which we really need to get these evidences and add up and to show that there is definitely a hope. And people never like to see that they are failing. So I'm not seeing that anyone would like to fail in any part of their life. And if you think of 2% of GDP, and if you think of 2% of my income, annual income, if I have to give for this, I will have to cut a little bit of my luxury. Maybe one of my jacket I'll not buy. Doesn't matter. Can we not just do that? So if we think that there are, out of, say, 1/5 of the population is in poverty. So if rest of us just give 2% of our income, we can solve the problem. With these words, I'll stop here. Thank you very much. One point, I forgot. So what I just feel, I believe, but I'm a scientist, so I'm not an opinionistic. I base on my evidences. And from the basis of that, I like to say that linking the climate response options to multiple goals of human well-being and services is the way forward for additional policies, financing mechanism. I just showed you what 2% where from can come. Widening participation and acceleration of civil dialogue. We really need a civil dialogue. Can we not have more peace talk? Can we not have more trust building across the countries? Can we not have trust building among the different actors in the society? Yes, we can have if you want.
Thank you.